Hi, this is Ron Janish. If I sound quite a bit younger than the person in this photograph here, it's because this is Alan Hall Andrews, who at his seminars and at his kitchen table effectively taught me much of what I know and understand about the markets and about the use of market geometry. And what we're going to focus on here today is market geometry versus other techniques. And my belief is that market geometry is more reliable than the other techniques. We're going to show why, even though I have no problem with what some people do very successfully is combine the techniques. Now, when you have let's go back here in time. When you have an indicator that is uh, based upon an overbought, oversold index, and very popular one is the RSI, for example, you can see that prices come down, and right here is where the ORE is. And what happens, ORE is a geometric indicator, so it winds up being, let's say, a line that kind of goes like this. Okay. And so what happens is prices will go through this for a set period of time, and then typically reverse. In some cases they don't, and they just keep on going. And that happens once in a while. And but this here we find is still more reliable than this indicator here, for example, because if all you're looking for example, if yeah, is overbought, oversold, look at how this goes into oversold, oversold, oversold. It's been an oversold many a time on the way down. Okay, where the ORE, it just comes over at a certain value, certain point in time, and there you're set. Okay, and the ORE is one of the reaction lines that we use with the advanced Andrews techniques. So let's take a look at this some more, and we can see here quite clearly that as the market started going up here, the RSI wound up being in overbought territory, and when it pretty much reached the top of the a little over the 80 point thing, it kind of stopped. And here it happened again, and here you happen to have divergence, but this only lasted for a little while, and then things went on again, right? And and so you have this constant up and down in your RSI and your other oscillators, whereas in your ORE typically will get hit at a certain date and a certain price. Now, with market geometry, if you're using only one line, like an ORE line, uh, then it'll come across at a certain value. But if you combine it with other indicators, you can very often find something that's helpful in finding you approximately where that reversal is going to occur in time and in price. Okay, but I use the ORE alone, and that's fine. And other people like to use median lines with it, and that can be interesting because when they come together, very often interesting things happen. And we can see here again that we have, prices going into the oversold area, goes down to oversold, doesn't make it, goes down to oversold, doesn't really make it. And then at the ORE, it winds up reversing. Now let's see what else kind of things occur when you have this ORE line. Well, in some cases, what you'll have is prices going to a median line. So like I said, in some cases you'll have several things that occur at approximately the same point. And when you have several things that occur at approximately the same time price point, then you have a much stronger signal, if you will. Whereas with your uh, oscillator here, you have one, and yes, you have divergence, and some people like to use that, even though that can be somewhat tricky. Um, and over here, if you go back in time and look at what I was looking at here, there were 3 or 4 things that came in here. Okay. So So what you'll find is that if you're looking for something that gives you a set value or pretty much a set time and value if you use an intersection of a few lines, then you'll find that this is much more reliable and much easier to use than the overbought oversold indicators, which are probably best used in a real-time setting. So you're looking at, gee, what's it doing right at this moment? If you're using some kind of an overbought oversold indicator. See, there's your divergence. Some people really like that. um, yeah, there you had divergence too, and there you had divergence, and there you had divergence. So whereas when you have a geometric indicator, sometimes prices will go up to a line and hit it once or twice, but typically what you'll have is you'll have prices hitting a line, reversing, and then being further away from it the next time. Let's see if that's the case here, which is what I call Andrews divergence. Yeah, here we go. This isn't bad. Here prices make the median line. Here they go up again, they don't, and they're just a hair away from it. And here they're a lot further away, and so you have a much stronger divergence situation from Andrews. Okay. And as you can see, uh, this here is a bit more reliable than this one here, where you're just counting, gee, missed it once, missed it twice. Okay. Anyway, this is why I think that market geometry is more reliable than using these oscillator indicators here. Okay? Even though you can use them in combination, and some people do incredibly successfully. I thank you for your time, and when you have a chance, come take the Andrews course. Just go to andrewscourse.com, click on products, and click right down here. And you can get it using your Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, all kinds of good things, even a check. See, it says bank. So, hey, you have any questions, please contact me, Ron J. at San Diego Roadrunner, or Ron Janish, Ron at andrewscourse.com. Thank you for your time. See you next time.